Hey everybody, Tim here, Rat Daddy Studios, and I am making this Saturday night because I won't be around for model cars and coffee on Sunday morning. I'm going to have breakfast with my grandchildren and my daughter and her husband, so we are late celebrating my oldest grandson's birthday. But as you all know, if you have older grandchildren, when they are in high school and they're playing sports and they have jobs and something new this year, it's hard to get everybody together. And so we've got a couple of hour window tomorrow. So we're celebrating my oldest grandson's birthday. So, yeah. So anyway, so um, let's see where we're going here. So I've been working on this thing, the truck, the Tyrone Malone hauler. So the cab's just sitting on there. It's just kind of mocked up, but everything else is assembled and ready to rock and roll. I am working on the interior currently. Put some light on there. I got some tape stuck in there. So the seats and the dashboard are in paint right now. I've got those out in the garage. They'll be dry tomorrow. I shot those, but I'm just kind of goofing with this. You know, the thing is, when you do the interiors of these trucks, you don't end up seeing 99% of it. But I had the little tiki art that I had printed when I was printing a lot of stuff for my diorama 6-7 years ago. I had some left over, so I put that, cut that, trimmed that, put in the back wall, put a little glittery blankie in there, and I got a little moon eyes clock. You see that little moon eyes clock that I had printed to put that in there, so it's kind of hard to see. But complementing colors, use the lime gold on the tufted interior, so it would be like that sparkly vinyl metal flake. And I've got the seats are candy orange, the dashboard is the candy green, so picking up all the colors off the truck body. So, but again, you know, you get this up in there and you don't see hardly any of it. But pretty happy with the way this is coming along, and anxious to get it all put together. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm just kind of mocking that up, sitting it there, and it's not going to sit there quite right because the hinges hold it up. But got the stacks done. I made those out of aluminum and cut those on my my mini saw there, and did a little 45 cut on the top there. Then I polished them and clear coated them with some Tamiya gloss clear. One of my decals in there, it's one of my holographic decals I put inside the big airfoil, and it's really picking up the colors off of the body and stuff and reflecting in the holographic part of that decal, so it's kind of cool. Let's see what else this week. Got a box from my buddy Chuck Darnell, as usual, and I got this. This is like a 3-pound solid chunk of resin. I mean, you could kill somebody with this thing. It weighs a ton. He cast these for a one of the Marx toys, the big rods that they made, a big hot rod. They probably, it's an old toy, probably late 50s, maybe early 60s. Chuck could tell you exactly. It's got a few spots in it I got to fill and clean it up. But he painted his up today. He made a giant red line out of his, and he's going to make a little display base kind of like sticking out from the bottom and put like a red line Hot Wheel in front of it, which I think that's a cool idea. So I may follow suit with something like that, but I get time to work on this and clean this up. But got to get some putty in there and fill that up a little bit, and clean it up some. The other thing that he sent me, which I was really floored and happy about, and again, you know, something he shouldn't have done, but he sent me this. This is, of course, a Deals Wheels. This is the Swine Hunt tank, which is really, really hard to get a hold of now. I'm probably never going to be ready. Oops, sorry about that. Got a loose fitting there. Let's get that straightened out. Man, sorry there, guys. So anyway, and believe it or not, I built this probably 25 years ago, maybe more, was in my original collection. I had sold this to my buddy Hale down in South Florida, and he had it. I broke a light off. He had it for several years, and then he traded it or whatever. Him and Chuck did some bartering around. So Chuck ended up with it, and Chuck's had it in his collection for quite some time. Man, I am like a bull in a china shop. Jeez. And so anyway, now it has come back to me, and it is complete. Everything's here. I'm pretty sure there's a few loose parts in here, but I'm gonna redo it all. I'm gonna clean it all up. It's kind of dusty right now and dirty, so I'm just gonna give it a good bath. I may reshoot all the chrome. I may pop all the chrome off, and I've got another one of these little helmets somewhere that's actually probably in better shape than this one. So, but I don't know if I can get it off of his head. Ooh, it's really on there. Anyway, might not be able to do that, but yeah. So anyway, so that, yeah, I got that back. I was really happy. I didn't think I've been looking at them on eBay, but holy cow. And Chuck ended up buying a sealed kit. He worked with one of the dealers on eBay and got a sealed kit, and then he ended up with another builder from another one of the guys that we know. There's the goggles that go on the helmet. So I think he got the builder at a decent price. So he's got some stuff to work with. So he passed this along, and I actually, what I did, I traded him off. He really loved that that Porsche that I had showed you guys in the Deals Wheels video. Man, my camera keeps shutting off for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on because I'm fully charged here. Anyway, I'll splice it all together. Chuck really loved that little green Porsche that I had built. And it's like an Aoshimi kit or something like that. And they're hard to find. And I had gotten a really good price on it when I bought it off of eBay. And he really loved it. So I sent it to him. And you know, he does a lot for me like this, you know, with the swine hunt, so I passed it along. So, okay, next thing I was going to show you, I pulled some stuff from my collection. I get a lot of questions, a lot of questions about paint and airbrushes and what's the best thing to use. That's a tough answer these days because there's so much good product out there. I'm a dinosaur. I'm still using Paches. I got my first Pache, the VL. The first one, my first wife gave me, I think, when I was about 21. And I got that when I had gone back to college to actually take kind of a brush-up airbrush course because I was struggling. I had been airbrushing since I was a kid, but I got to the point where I was just kind of you know, just having troubles. I was screwing stuff up. Of course, I was still using a lot of Badgers and stuff like that. And single action, a lot of them. I just wasn't getting to where I wanted to. So she bought me the first VL that I had, and I had gone back to college and studied with a longtime friend of mine, one of my art teachers, Steve Marsh, great artist, and I actually helped him set up the entire airbrush workshop. And there we built all of the manifolds for everybody to hook into. We PVC'd all the way around the entire classroom, and then put all the quick release fittings in those. And which I've got I built my own manifold. I mean, they sell manifolds for huge amounts of money, and I built my own with PVC and fittings from Home Depot and a pressure gauge from Home Depot. I probably got 25 bucks in it, 30 bucks in the whole thing, and they sell for hundreds, you know. And this is my second one. My first one finally just was starting the plastic was getting, the PVC was getting kind of brittle, and I was afraid of it exploding. And I don't run high pressure on it. The most I ever had pressure in there was probably 40 pounds. Usually less than that, 30, you know, most of the time. So, and the PVC glue holds really well, but it just was giving up the ghost. So I built another one maybe 10 years ago, but the other one was probably over 20 years old, but they work great. So that's something you can do for yourself. And mine's got like 3 or 4 fittings in it now. Not that I need to use that many airbrushes at one time usually, but I have for certain projects, but not normally. But I always keep, generally, I have 3 airbrushes on my airbrush holders at the bench. I've got my VL with the number 5 tip, and then I've got an H for water-based paints, and I've got another H for oil-based paints and stuff. So those are always kind of right there, hooked up with the lines hanging there. So, but I use the VL most of the time still. With the number 5 tip is what I paint most of this stuff with. I've got another VL in my box with a number 1 tip on it for fine work. And of course I've got, I use the Iwata Eclipse that I've got that's set up for super low pressure that I use for spraying chrome with the Molotow chrome. And very little air coming through that gun, but quite a bit of flow with the chrome paint. And which you really have to, well, you guys that do it, you have to really lay it on there heavy to get it to actually work. Right? That took me a while to figure that out, and Chuck was the one that told me, you got to really lay it on there, and it will turn to chrome. You'll see it chrome up, and it did. It worked. So I got the hang of it. It just takes a little practice, and it's that way with all the airbrushes. I can't tell you what's good for you, but you don't need anything crazy expensive to get good paint jobs. My buddy John Teresi, he's probably one of the best model builders out there right now. John's work is just so off the charts. If you haven't seen it, you can look it up on YouTube. There's some videos on there. One of the guys, the model car Muse, I can't remember his name right now. He's a really well-known model builder. I'm sorry, but he had interviewed John. There's 2 videos on his site with John's work, and just mind-blowing. And he uses a Pache H single action, and his candy paint jobs, multicolored paint jobs, fade jobs. They're absolutely drop-dead gorgeous, and they're all with the cheapest airbrush on the market, because you can pick up an H. You can buy a used H. You can buy a new one for very little money, and you can buy a used one on eBay for even less. So, but I dug out a few vintage airbrushes from my collection to show you guys. So, and then the first one this is one of my favorites. This is a very early Pache from the. Oh, actually, wait a minute, I grabbed the wrong one. That's Darren Chandler. There we go. Okay, there it is. This is a Pache H2 from the 1930s. And really the designs of the airbrushes have not changed that much for the most part. It's smaller. And this thing still works, by the way, because I've messed with it. Single action, very comfortable though. I mean, tiny little gun, but really fine little tip on this guy. But it is a single action. Flow is adjustable there. Of course, in your, here's your air pressure. But nice little gun. And this one's in really, really, really nice shape. And this is back from the days when, this stuff was just made so well. Made in the United States. They're all serial numbered. I have a catalog, too, that Denny Johnson gave me from 1929. A Pache catalog, an original catalog. Denny... as you guys know, Denny is the inventor of the Zinger model kits. And Denny actually was a rep for Pache for many years because he used the Pache products when he was airbrushing when he was younger. And they picked him up as a sales representative. So he worked for them for many years. Maybe something everybody doesn't know. Good guy. Denny's still going. Denny's, I think, about 83 now. Great guy. Great sense of humor. We love busting each other's ass. He's funny. This is a Thayer and Chandler, also from the 1950s, and same thing. Pretty simple. This is a dual action. Just nice little gun. Nice little tip. This is a cool little bullet cap that locks in place to protect the tip. That locks around there. You can see how that moves. Your cup just hooks in to the side here. Just really neat. Oh, excuse me, wrong spot. There we go. Cool little cup. And there's actually even a little drain plug on the bottom of the cup, which is cool. This is in nice shape. I've tried all of these at one time or another, and they all work. And it's 75-year-old technology, but the technology really just hasn't changed that much. This is an H, a Pache H, single action. These are I love these because these are Bakelite handles on here. A lot of these early ones, so fairly desirable with collectors. Again, this is just a single action, but made in a good old US of A. Patent number on there. There's your serial number on there. 52,265. I mean, you just don't find this quality anymore with these guns. Nice cases, you know. We got a nice little velvet lined box, and there's your cup. I mean, the quality is just so good on these early guns. Most of them, anyway. This is another H from the 50s as well. And these were distributed by A&B Smith Company. You'll see this name a lot on a lot of the early stuff. They marketed a lot of the Pache stuff. And the same thing. This is just a little later model with a little different handle. This is more of a regular plastic. This is not Bakelite. This is more the regular plastic, more like the modern day guns. But again, serial numbers 71,203, made in USA, and just, man, they just don't wear out. They really don't. Got the little piece that you can put on your bench to hang it on, which I used to use those years ago before I had the modern day holders. Nice cup. I mean, you look at just the craftsmanship in the cup, and it's made to sit, you know. It's just balanced nice where it'll sit without falling over. I mean, just really cool. I love these. I really love having these in my collection. And then, you know, going way back, this is one of my really early guns. This is from Sears Roebuck. These were made by Badger, I believe. This is an old single action Sears. This is one of the ones I used as a kid. I have my original Binks Wren, which I'll show you guys. I don't have it up here. It's in one of my display cabinets downstairs, but I actually found an original box that it came in on eBay recently. I'm waiting for that to come in, and it's got a crack in the cover, but you know, everything else is still there, so I picked that up. But yeah, these are just, I mean, they're really super basic, and but they're all, everybody's fairly consistent with the designs of these guns. They're all basically the same. And you know, if you're worried about using the airbrush and hesitant, you know, if it's intimidating you, don't let it, because it's just like a rattle can, really. I mean, you think about it, you're just, especially a single action, you're just pushing one nozzle. The only difference is you're putting your own paint in. And the rule of thumb with paint too is always reduce your paint to the consistency of milk, whether it's water-based or urethanes or whatever it is. If you follow that simple rule, which I always have, and an older painter told me that years ago, if you follow that simple rule, then it'll spray nicely. You won't have clogging on the tip or buildup on the tip if you just stick with that. Then of course you have to learn to control your air pressures. I mean, I run a little high on some of the stuff. I run about 30 pounds. You don't even have to run that much, but I get a nice even spray at 30 pounds. But by using the dual action, see, I'm regulating my air that's actually coming out of the gun. So I'm not always, yes, sometimes I'm spraying a little heavier air pressure, you know, when I'm throwing a lot of paint. But for me, I have more control on these larger areas with these model car bodies with the dual action, just for me. I mean, I've done some of them with the H that I've got out there, but I'll usually use that more on like some of the shift knobs I'm painting, something like that, unless I'm doing a huge batch of the same color, in which case I'll use my bigger Pache touch-up gun or one of my other touch-up guns. And that's another thing. You can get a great little touch-up gun at Harbor Freight. I mean, I had some really expensive ones years ago, and it was in Harbor Freight, and I had this sale flyer, and I'm looking at this gun, and I'm thinking, man, this thing looks just like the one I've got that was like $200. And I brought it home. Literally, there was no difference in that thing. I think with the coupon I had, I got the thing for like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, something like that. And now what I do is I use them till they wear out. The only thing I will tell you, they do have a tendency, at some point, they'll start dripping paint. Don't ask me why, whether it's just the seals are cheap or whatever, the O-rings give out, whatever. They start dripping paint, but you catch those sales. Sometimes you can pick up a couple of them, or they're almost like buy one get one. And I just keep them put away. And when they get really really crappy, now I just throw them away and just break out another one. Now I've got Chuck gave me that Pache touch-up gun about a year ago. I think he gave it to me for my birthday or something. Man, that thing is just that. It is a nice gun. That gun is different because it sprays really, really, really nice. So that's not a throwaway. That's an expensive little gun, and it's nice. So something to look at. So anyway, hopefully that answers some of your questions about paint and about airbrushes. But it's a little intimidating at first, and I don't use. The other thing is compressors are very important. I don't use the little small compressors, the piston-driven compressors, because one thing you'll find with those is they pulsate. And, as that engine's running, that piston's moving in there, your air pressure's pulsating a lot of times. Maybe the newer ones aren't like that so much. I have a studio compressor by Silent Air that was extremely expensive 20 years ago, but totally portable. It's an oil motor and super super quiet. I mean, super quiet, and it only runs maybe 30 pounds, 35 pounds on it, but it's perfect for what, when I was going, I was airbrushing like school floats, Christmas floats and stuff like that. So having that portability was important, and not all the noise, because we were working at aircraft hangars a lot of the time. So it was nice at being quiet. So really good compressor, but super expensive. And you don't have to spend that kind of money now, because you can get a super quiet compressor now. They've got them at Home Depot and Lowe's for a couple $100. Henry Gerson's got a couple of them. They're really nice, really, really nice, and portable, tall and slim, and on big wheels, so you can pull it around easily. Really, really nice compressor, and at some point I'd like to pick one up. The one I've got now is noisy as hell, but it's big. I use a big compressor because I have a lot of air tools, air impact wrenches, air chisels, and stuff like that. And I use those not that often, but maybe every year and a half, every 2 years, or whatever. If I got a lug that's locked up on one of the cars or the van or something, I'll break that air gun out and use the impact wrenches. So that, for me, I like having that, because if I need 160 pounds of air pressure, I've got it at my disposal. Again, normally with my airbrushes, I'm running 25, 30 pounds most of the time, at least to my manifold, and then controlling it with that dual action gun. So anyway, so that's what's going on, and hopefully that'll answer some of your questions. And yeah, so hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy your Sunday, and hope a bunch of you guys do model cars and coffee. I'm trying to catch up on videos, and I mean, you can miss a day or two and get way behind on these videos now. So I've been trying to get caught up this week. It's a little slower, and I've been playing them while I'm working. So hopefully get caught up with all you guys. But thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up, the like button if you like what you're seeing. And every little bit helps. And watch as long as you can stand looking at me and listening to me. And because that actually adds up too. So I'm getting up there. I'm pushing that 4,000 hour envelope right now on watch time. So getting close, within probably 300 hours or so. So yeah, it's which is cool. So anyway, I'll have an update this week again as I get this interior put together, get some details on that dashboard, get this interior on this truck, and hopefully wrap this thing up this week, because I'm excited to start at least one of these drag cars for the Glory Days drag group build with drag cars. That's Joe at Blue Sky Model Works, I believe. I remember all that. And Tiffany at Dirt Road Cinderella. They're sponsoring that. So it sounds like a fun contest, and I'm excited about that. Or not a contest, but a group build. So I'm excited about that, to participate. And hopefully you guys will too. So thanks again for coming by. And I'll see you later this week. And enjoy your Sunday.